Fancy a little chaos? Terran chaos? Transformers Earthspark Chaos Terran Aftermath. Yeah, baby, will be our focus this time around in the latest GotBot True review. Hey one, hey all, welcome back to the channel. I'm your host, your most humble of hosts, Dennis Moulton, aka GotBot. As always, please like, comment, share. Of course, subscribe, and while you are at it, light them up, baby. Hit that notification bell, please. It helps me out a ton, let you know when content of all sorts goes up here on the channel. Check out Machinery of Man, the Everything Factor, all the groups that I'm either a mod or an admin for, as well as all of my social media links. All of that's in the description down below. Also in the description down below, and if you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link, check us out on Patreon, see what we have to offer to you through spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. And this is the Chaos Terran Aftermath. I love Earthspark. I really do. I think it's excellent fiction, well-weaved stories, and while I'm not interested in more, star screams and optimism and whatnot, I very much am into new characters with a new creation. Enter the Terrans. Well, we also have a couple of Chaos Terrans, which, they're kind of nutty. They sort of align more with the Decepticons a bit. They're kind of like the bad guys, I suppose, if you want to look at it that way. Aftermath, and of course, later, at some point, hopefully, Spitfire. But I really like the character of Aftermath. Big, brawling bruiser. But you know what? He also has this, kind of cool, I don't want to say collected because it's not that, but he has this, cool, I don't care attitude to him as well. So when this came out, I knew I was going to have it. How good is this, though? Let's find out together when we head over to the table and take a closer look at this guy. Man, I really enjoyed Earthspark. I think it's great storytelling. I know some people disagree. Hey, that's your prerogative. But I think it's the best storytelling we've gotten in a show since Transformers Prime, if you actually pay attention to it. I love the exploration of new fiction, and I love that we've gotten whole new characters created a whole new way by way of the Terrans, and now the introduction of the more Decepticon-aligned Chaos Terrans. And the very first one that we got introduced to was Aftermath, who I thought looked so cool. Loved them in the show. I really dig the look of the packaging here. Of course, we have our boy down front here looking ferocious as always. Over on this side, your typical Earthspark artwork. On this side, a close-up, if you will, of his head. I mean, it's the same artwork that's on the front, essentially. And on the back, we have our boy in both of his alt modes. We also have this nice sheet of instructions. Honestly, it's pretty effective for the most part, though admittedly it doesn't necessarily show the leg movement the smoothest. I sort of had to figure that out on my own. And yes, indeed, here we have Aftermath. You see him next to the Warrior class Thrash, the Deluxe class Twitch, just to give you an idea of where he fits in. I love this guy. On the show, I take him to be a big, bad bruiser, so I do find this to be pretty small. I really would have liked for him to be more of a Voyager-esque size, but that doesn't mean that this is bad by any stretch of the imagination. Now let's talk about a couple of things real quick before we get into things like the coloration and articulation and transformation. First, in package, this blaster that I have put in his arm is just free. It is purple, it is painted silver, it's tri-barreled, it's nice. Of course, he can put it on his arm, he can hold it in his hand, whatever. The nice part is that we actually have a peg on the bottom, but one's on either side as well. So I find that really neat. Also in package, I will note that this whole section here was detached. If I can get it off now. Maybe I can't. I think it's because I got this up over. I'm not sure. This whole section was off and this little hook was off. I don't want to try and get it off now. It does go pegged in, and once it's pegged in, it's quite solid. It's supposed to be behind his head. That's where I leave it. The other thing worth noting out of package was that these shoulders, much like the show, were angled in. The problem with having the shoulders left angled in is that that's all you're getting for a T-pose movement. It really hinders the articulation, so I tend to put it out to the side. I will also note that these two side pieces in package were not tabbed in to this piece like they're supposed to be, which meant moving his shoulders moved the entire side of the chest. They don't lock in the best, but when you lock them in, they're infinitely better. Also worth noting on my copy, out of package, this, I'm going to call it double ball joint, I believe it is. It goes up fine, no problem, right? But this one over here, much tighter. So it goes up and it goes down now, but I've actually been working this ball joint over here because both into the shoulder and into the body, much tighter than I think it's supposed to be. Just a few things worth noting there. Make sure I got the chest and the head down. Okay. And I think we've got everything kind of set up there. So let's start giving this guy some scores. When we talk about Aftermath going from the bottom working our way up, I mean his feet basically should be gunmetal gray with purple toes, and there are some like gold highlights just down right here. We don't have that. His lower leg where the tires are should be a more like a gunmetal gray, a dark gray, kind of like the thighs. And the knees should be more of a silver. However, that being said, I kind of like the gray here. The Takara iteration of this got the correct colors on the legs. Going up the body, yes, we should have purple on the body. The center of the grill, that should probably be a little more red than the black that we have here. And the headlights, they too are a little bit of a different shade. So, and again, the Takara one nails that. And again, I'm going by the like animation here, or I'm trying to anyway. The arms. We should have basically purple on the forearm with the gray hand. A little bit of detail should be added to the forearm that's not there. The shoulder pylon pieces, I guess we'll call it, the shoulder spike pieces. I mean, yeah, they should basically be gray and silver with some purple details, which this does have. So that's correct. The head is pretty much the way that it should be as well. Maybe a couple of differentiations on his mohawk here with a little bit of red. The Takara one nails the look better. But I feel like that this deeper purple is actually quite nice. The Takara one definitely scores better. But I do like this. I'm going to say that, yeah, and you definitely know it's Aftermath. Gosh, I'm going to say that this is, it's a solid 8 for sure. You know it's Aftermath. It's a solid 8. Let's get into the articulation for the guy. The head goes left and right. It can kind of look up and down a bit, but when you look down, it's really going to go down into his chest. The shoulders, they go all the way around. We can T-pose all the way out if we fold these all the way back like this. If you want to leave them out this way, again, your T-pose is going to be affected quite adversely. So make of that what you will. It's up to you how you do that. The elbows go to 90 degrees, bicep swivel. I don't think anything at the wrist. I don't know. No, I don't think so. I'm getting a little wiggle here, but I think that's just because I'm pressing it rather than it being intended. In terms of a waist on the guy, we do have a waist, which I like. I think that's really good. Leg forward, leg all the way back. I mean, splits all the way out to the side. We get a knee to, for sure, 90 degrees, which I really, really like. And the ankle tilt, the feet go way in. And not just that, but the feet can actually like rotate all the way around. So like you can actually adjust his stance in any number of ways. I'm really impressed with that. Articulation, honestly, for what this is, for as small as it is, maybe a wrist. I'm going to say 9.9. It is excellent. He was getting an 8 and a 9.9. Let's say overall this guy right now is a 9. Just as a transformer, he is fun. Let's do the transformation. The guy is currently getting a 9. I like it. So, I guess we'll begin by picking up the whole kind of head section there, and we're going to bring that head down. Next, I'm going to pick this off, and we're going to leave this for now. We're going to come to the front here and angle up the shoulders. They're going to come down and tab in over these. I do find trying to line up the opening in here to this sometimes is a chore, sometimes it's not. Let's see how it is today. Let's see here. Bring this down. Yeah, I think it's going to be a bit of a chore today. I think it's possibly going to be a bit of a chore. Let's bring that arm out and bring that in. Let's bring this arm out and bring that in. And then these two should tab together. Come on. I'm going to do this section off camera just because you're going to see me fiddling with it. And it is a little bit of a chore to do. But it should look like this. Boom, like that. I mean, there's no easy way for me to explain to do it. You just have to try and finesse it in over. And I find that I have to look very close at the peg and the slot that the rectangular peg goes into. Once that's done, however, the rest of the transformation becomes quite brilliant and really fairly easy for the most part. Okay, so now that we've got the bumper together there, we can fold in our hands, and really we're going to, at the ball joint, flip this up so that this rectangular peg here goes into this slot here on the side. Before we do that, I'm actually going to take this whole section here and turn it around. The whole backpack turns around, and bring that down to be part of the hood section. And I'm also going to straighten that up like that for now with the hook down. Okay, now let's fold up that arm and fold up that arm, and both of these now should be able to go into those slots on the side of the vehicle to basically hold it in place. And again, just trying to do this on camera is a bit rough. It's a lot easier in hand than it is on camera. Okay, so now that I got that up, we can deal with the legs. And the legs are very interesting, really. So we have to kind of take the entire knee out. You're not just bending the knee, you're bringing this whole purpley section up. Then the inside of the leg folds out. And we'll do the same on the other side. We're going to bring up the entire purple section. We're going to fold the inside of the knee out. Next, see if I can show this. Next, we want to try and bring the entire leg and knee section kind of down inside. You can't really finesse it. It takes a little bit of force to do it, but in the end, this gray peg right here should slot into just behind the arm here. So the arm should be into the peg on the side, and then this slot should go into the arm. I don't think I have my arms quite in the pegs on the side, so I'm probably not going to be able to actually solidify all of this yet. Hold on, I'm going to make sure that I got the front of this all tabbed together before we collapse those knees. Now I get that a few folks might say, hey GotBot, you've made a couple of cuts here. It's because of how small this is. I do wish it was like a Voyager size, but when I peg these arms in on the side, like I can actually hear the friction of the peg going into the slot. It's tight. Same with the front here. As hard as I find it to line up the pegs and the slots, once they go over, it is solid. Now that we've got this done, we can come here, and really, you'll see that I just brought the entirety of the leg down. right? The whole thigh's in here. It's still kind of like a bent knee. We're going to do the same thing on this side as well. The entirety of the whole leg comes down. Then we're going to take the feet and bring them in on the side. This is when the pegs on the side of this matter, because on the bottom of the feet we have these peg holes where we can slot the blaster in, and when you slot it in, it'll be upside down so that the flat part is on the top and the triangle point is on the bottom. You're going to take this other foot and bring it in, and you're going to solidify that over the blaster. So this makes like the tailpipe, I guess. Now that all of that is done, you can take those two gray pegs that I mentioned earlier and put them in behind the arms. And really, you're just solidifying all of that in. Bring that in, and bring that one in. That one's in as well. Bring the hook down, and boom, in the end, here you have Aftermath in his vehicle mode, and he rolls like a champion. I love this vehicle mode, and believe it or not, even though I had a couple of cuts, I love the transformation. It's actually really excellent. Just to explain it overall, the head flips down into the body down here. The shoulder pads come forward and they tab in to make the front bumper and tab into each other and the bumper. The arms just rotate up on the ball joint to tab into the side of the vehicle, and the friction is quite tight with it. You extend the entire purple joint of the knee so that you can flip out the inside of the leg up right here, and then you collapse the entire knee and thigh all the way down on both legs. You take the feet and fold them in and sandwich them around his blaster so that it becomes the exhaust, and then you can take the whole thing and solidify it into the back of the arms with two little tabs. It's actually a brilliant transformation. I'm going to give it a 10. I think the transformation is a 10. Despite the couple of cuts, I think the transformation is so enjoyable and so fun. I think it's a 10. He was getting a 9. This is a 9.5 for a Transformer. The only gripe I can levy against this guy is that I wish he was a Voyager size, because I think he deserves it. And maybe one day in the Generations line, he will get that exact treatment. Until then, this is an excellent Transformer and an excellent Aftermath. And here he is, and here I am. And you know what, like, okay, so I love the look, and I know that the lower legs here should be really black, and the kneecap should be that kind of gunmetal gray color, but I think I like the purple on the knee and the lighter gray down on the legs more. I love the feet. I love the fact we have a full rotation all the way around, as well as an ankle tilt. Very solid on his feet, actually. The crane piece behind him, that's fine, because that's pretty movable, and you can even take it off if you don't like it. The elbows, they're fine. The bicep swivel, that's fine. Then we get to the weird shoulders, and I do find the left one is toleranced really darn tight. I didn't realize that the two, I guess, chest pieces that the shoulder is connected to actually kind of slot in behind. I discovered that on my own. But once you slot it in behind, it really, really helps this guy be a lot more solid. Opening the shoulders out to the side definitely allows you to have more T-posing ability, no doubt about it, that you lose when you leave it in, right? It's just, you lose that ability, which is a bit of a shame, because in the animation, I don't think the shoulders fold back like this. I do it because I want the functionality. Like I said, I do find the left one is just toleranced way tighter. I'm sure that'll be, results will vary. I like the look of the guy. I do wish he was more Voyager sized than deluxe, to be honest with you, but I get it. They didn't do Voyagers in Earthspark. I understand it. I like this guy. I just wish he was a little bit bigger. One day, perhaps, we will get this guy revisited in the Generations line. And when we do, probably as a Voyager. And you know what? I'll probably update this guy with that then. But until then, I think that this is a very, very ingenious transformation. The way the legs unfurl and the whole backpack turns around and the chest flips up and everything else. There's a lot of movement here. The way the bumper comes in over or under the grill. I think that that's a little cumbersome. At least trying to line it up for the tabs is a bit of a nuisance, but once you do that, the rest of the transformation is pretty darn smooth. Smoother than I thought it was going to be, honestly. Yeah, really surprised by this guy. Really like this guy, and one of the more ingenious, well-engineered Transformers that I've looked at in a long time. If you've overlooked this guy, don't. He's a gem and he's fun. If you have this guy, I hope you enjoy him as much as I do. Let me know what you think about Aftermath. I appreciate you guys coming by, giving me some of your extremely valuable time. I do know how important it is to you. If you're in a position to help the channel to grow, you can use the donate link. Check us out on Patreon. See what we have to offer to you through Spring, or of course hit the join button at any given time and become a channel member. While you're at it, hit the subscribe button, stick around, have some fun with us here on the channel, and don't forget, not for a moment, not for a second, that you right there, you do make a difference in the world. And I look forward to the next time that you and I get together to have another visit, either in the live streams on Thursday nights, at the stop motion premieres, or the old fashioned way right here inside the videos.